How you doing? Welcome back to a brand new video. We have an absolute banger, if not the biggest video I've ever made today. So make sure you clock in and watch till the end because this one's going to be a doozy. Today, we're going to be checking out a brand new controller from a company called Nagashock Gaming. Now, you might not have heard of these guys. They are definitely a smaller company, but with that, you are getting an absolute amazing deal for the product. And I wanted to showcase it today and kind of walk you through it, show some gameplay of it, and see if it's one of my recommendations. As you guys may know, I have reviewed a ton of controllers at this point, so I think I know a thing or two about quality controllers, but there is a lot in the background that I don't mention in my videos that I'm going to be covering today. Some of the biggest aspects of the controller reviews I do, I end up missing out on reporting on. So a couple things like the durability of the controller long term, the customer support, which is a super big one, and in general, if the controller ends up failing in any sort of facet over time. Well, big shout out to Nagashock for sending me in this controller to review because we're going to be doing some really cool testing with it. First, we're doing this unboxing and review, kind of first impressions. Later on down the line, we're going to do a 3-month or so review of it, 6-month, and see if it still holds up. And we're going to cover a lot of different things in this video, so make sure to strap in and let's get into it. Hold on, before we go any further, I want to let you guys know that Nagashock did send this controller to me for the purpose of this review. However, they are not requiring me to say anything nice, brag about it, anything like that. They want me to be 100% honest, which is really impressive. Actually, it's cool of them to do that. Even more importantly, you can use code Gunzy, that's G-U-N-Z-Y, to save you some cash, about 5% at the end of your order and checkout. So go to nagashock.com, build up your custom controller, or choose one of the quick pick options and use the code Gunzy, that's G-U-N-Z-Y, at checkout to get 5% off your order. The link will also be in the description, of course. Again, they sent me this for the purpose of this review. However, this is a completely unbiased review. Back to the video. All right, so I had just now taken out of the brown box it came in. So it comes in a normal shipping box, as you would know. And then this is what you have, as well as some wrap covering the outsides like this to make sure it doesn't move around. So first off, got to give them a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, what you want to call it, for the presentation of the box and how it comes, because it was shipped very safely. This is the optional purchase of the case for it. I went ahead and grabbed it because I wanted something to kind of showcase, as well as the controller, that they do make custom branded cases to hold the controller. We have some really nice quality zippers on there. You're first greeted with a card with a scan me on the back, as well as the social medias. The controller that you built. So I ended up getting digital front buttons, so the D-pad and the front buttons, the bumpers and the triggers. I have back buttons and then a custom colorway with mine. We'll go in a little bit into the configurator to show what you actually can do with this, but mainly the big thing to note is that you pretty much can do most things that you would want to do with a controller. I mean, you can actually customize so much on this thing, which is funny because I actually went for a simpler design, but you will see it now. This is the first time I'm seeing it as well. So I wanted something kind of like a stock PS5, but a little bit more pizzazz to it. So I went with a gray on gray. So a couple things to note here. We have on the right stick, we have increased thumbstick tension. So this is more like an Xbox 360 kind of feel. It's a little bit harder to pull, which is better for aiming, gives you more precise shots. Then we also have the gray grips on the back, as well as these clicky back buttons. Then we also have, obviously, the gray and white. If you see like a traditional PS5 controller, here's the differences. So this one's lighter. I had the rumbles removed, and therefore it gives it a little bit of it's a little bit lighter, easier to hold, which is really nice. Now the lighting's not amazing, but we work with what we can. Next, we have, of course, the digital separated buttons on the front. You hear that? They're clicky. So the clicky on the D-pad as well. Lastly, both digital triggers and bumpers. So here are the bumpers and the triggers. You might not be able to hear it, but mouse click, you heard it from the other pieces. So yeah, so that's what we have here. First things first, what I can review and say for sure is that This is probably the most customizable controller I've ever reviewed. I will say that they did an absolute amazing job. Every single piece of this controller is engineered to perfection. Another really important thing to note that I did talk to them about is that they use 100% authentic PS5 controllers to be modded, as well as their DualShock 4s are also authentic. The reason that's important is because some controller companies don't actually use authentic controllers for their builds. They'll use secondhand or built in different countries. They'll just use any sort of controller they can get and then mod it and say it's a PS5 controller or a PS4 controller. Nagashock does not do that. They buy the actual controllers straight from Sony, and then they mod them themselves. So you're essentially getting the best possible quality controller that you could possibly buy. They do thoroughly test their controllers. Mine went through some deep testing. We would kind of talk through the process, and they made sure to test every single piece on this to make sure it was working as intended. So this is going to work with PS5 as well as PC using the DualShock, or the DS4 app, I should say. First big impressions, the grip on the back is super nice. It's a little bit different from normal kinds of grips. I would say it's similar to if you've held the Series X controller or a PS5 controller. It's kind of like an enhanced version of that. It feels very, I would say, natural. It doesn't move in your hands. It feels like it grips really tight. All right, next I will also talk about the thumbsticks. So these are PS5 thumbsticks. However, they've been dyed light gray, and the rings are really smooth. I don't know if they did anything to them, but these are smoother than my actual PS5 controller. Man, that enhanced tension on the right thumbstick is seriously impressive. I'm excited to use that. All right, so here's kind of a final money shot while I go over my initial thoughts. So I will say that this is definitely the highest quality custom controller I've ever used. I've of course reviewed quite a few, including the Elite, from Xbox, the Scuff, the Astro. I've also used a ton on the outside, and I will say that this is definitely the highest quality feeling because it feels a lot like a PS5 controller and then added a bunch of quality of life improvements. Another thing to note is this is priced similarly. So one big reason that Nagashock wanted to do this review with me and why I wanted to do it with them is I wanted to showcase a lot of what they have to offer. And one big thing that they have to offer is their price. The controller starts out at being retail price about $80, I believe. They do have pre-built controllers that are rivaling everyone on the market right now. And that's one big reason why I really stand by the company so far. Speaking to their customer service, I will say that so far I have spoken to every customer service controller wise, because most controllers I've used end up having issues at some point down the line, just as normal controllers do. Nagashock was the best, hands down. Every single question I had I needed an answer for, they answered instantly. They knew exactly what to say, and they had all the answers. I will say that they also do offer long-term support past the warranty. Obviously it would be a case-by-case basis, but say you had an issue, you do have the option of reaching out to them and kind of talking to them about it. Maybe they can do something for you, and that's something that a lot of other companies don't do. I can't say specifically, but I know for a specific company that I had worked with did not allow me to send in my controller afterwards. They just kind of said, you're SOL, buy a new one. Nagashock is definitely quality first, and it is very obvious. Enough chit chatting. I want to get this into a game and actually test it out to see, is it really going to hold up? I mean, because so far I can say it's about a 10 out of 10, and I can't complain about it. Really quickly, before we jumped into the gameplay, I kind of wanted to showcase the website a little bit, kind of walk you through it and how you can navigate it. So of course it's nagashock.com, and then you have the website. So we have a couple advertisements popping up for their pre-made controllers that do ship out in 2 to 3 business days, as well as creating your own custom controller. And they do allow you to submit any sort of different custom options you might want. So if they don't have something directly on the site, you are able to reach out and possibly get it pre-made. I did see a custom controller that was really unique that involved Loba that they did, which was really cool, from Apex Legends. So here we have the FPS Wingman, the Raider, and the Predator. So these are the PS5 controllers, the pre-built, the pre-mades that you can go ahead and buy and ship out within 2 to 3 days. And these will be kind of your essentials. So let's go ahead and check them all out. So first you have the Wingman. They of course do have PS4 controllers as well, but today we're checking out the PS5s. Although the FPS Wingman is essentially a 2 fast action tactical rear buttons, which are the back buttons that I showed you before right here. The rumbles are included and an onboard microphone enabled. So essentially this is the controller plus the back buttons installed. So this is kind of, if you just wanted to have back buttons, this is going to be your best option. One thing to point out, it is $140, which is, I believe, the cheapest option on the market currently for a PS5 controller, and they're using authentic controllers. This is an absolute steal of a deal for what you are getting. This company is underrated, and I recommend them wholeheartedly, especially based off the customer service. You can't go wrong. This thing feels great. Next up, though, we do have the Raider. If you want to step it up a little bit, you do get the digital triggers, the L2 and R2. So this is what I have, the digital mouse click triggers. These allow for instant shooting, really good for semi-auto weapons like pistols, being able to spam the trigger with a shorter trigger pull. You can shoot faster, as well as just reaction time. So if you're going to shoot someone, if you're doing slide cancel in Call of Duty around a corner, you need to aim in real quick, ADS, and then shoot. These are a shorter throw, and you have a very high chance of shooting them before they can shoot you, therefore just kind of getting your KD a little bit higher. This one also does come with the back buttons that are included on mine. It has the rumbles included, and of course the microphone. Now the top tier, the coup de grace, the FPS Predator. This is essentially what I have on mine, except for mine has some more cosmetic options. So this has the digital click triggers and the back buttons like before, but it also has the digital click bumpers. So the bumpers up here being these L1 and R1, these are another great option to get on your controller because, again, they do speed up any sort of process. So I would also recommend, if you play flipped, to get the digital click bumpers, so that way you're using R1 and L1 to shoot, get those digital click as well. As mentioned before, they do have the rumbles included and the onboard microphone enabled. The last thing I want to show you guys is the full PS5 configurator. As you just saw before, that is essentially what you can do to your controller. However, if you buy one from here, you just start with a stock PS5 controller price, and you can kind of move from there. So if I wanted to say do a soft touch blue front, or specifically what I like is, let's do the soft touch white. The back shell, we are going to do the gray performance Raptor grip, which is what I have on mine. Something important to note actually is I believe they didn't have the gray, but I had suggested to them, hey, you guys should think about doing a gray because it would look really good. And boom, now we have a gray on the back, which is super cool. So if you guys ever have any recommendations, please reach out to them. They do have a customer feedback section to be able to reach out and see if there's something specific that you would like. Reach out to them. They've been amazing and can do a lot of cool stuff. So here we're going to just kind of customize. This is one of the controller ideas I had. I was kind of messing around the other day, and I was like, you know what, I could make it kind of my brand's colors. I could do blue and gray and white and kind of, make it your own, right? Like there's a ton of different options. One of the cool things too is that you can do, let me go ahead and find the, like a touchpad, you could do chrome red. I mean, chrome red is something that I'm sure a lot of people will be interested in. Chrome blue, silver, gold, metallic. The world is your oyster in this situation, right? So anything that you were looking to do, they most likely have it possibly done already. And the coolest part is, if you have new ideas, please let them know, because they're always looking for new things to try out. It's super cool that they're able to offer so many different options and already, but they're always looking to add more. So basically you can do everything at every single possible thing you could possibly add into here. Boom. Now this one's a kind of an all-out controller, right? So if you want to go crazy on it, there really is a lot of customization, and that's super important. A lot of companies are not currently offering a wide range of customization, and I would say Nagashock is absolutely A1, 10 out of 10 when it comes to this aspect. All right, so now we are in Black Ops Cold War. I have the controller plugged in via USB. It does work on Bluetooth, but I play wired, so this is connected to my PS5 directly, which you are seeing right here. Just to prove it, boom. That is my PS5 navigating it via the controller. I apologize if this webcam is a little bit laggy, it's older, but loading in, there we have Black Ops Cold War with the Nagashock controller. As you can see, I threw on my little control freak because I use these, but yeah, it is it's incredibly comfortable. It definitely, something like this, if you've never used paddles or buttons on the back of a controller before, they do take a little bit to get used to. However, after a little bit of time, it shouldn't take too much effort to get into it. Another big reason why I switched to something like this with buttons on the back is because Bumper Jumper Tactical, I didn't have a PS5 custom controller with buttons on the back until now. This helps you not need the face buttons, but the main issue we have here is that sliding with the right stick, not only is it way more inaccurate, if you guys watch competitive Call of Duty, pro player Formal, he talked about how using crouch on your right stick is actually much worse for playing because it's going to lower your accuracy. So something like this allows you to bind the back buttons to face buttons. So what we're going to do is run this on default. So now A is my left, so this is my jump, and B is my right. That is my slide or my crouch. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and jump into a game, get some gameplay with it, and just kind of see how it feels. The digital triggers being that now these will be able to allow me to shoot instantly and without any sort of delay, as well as the bumpers. So these will also be instant. So anytime you want to throw a grenade or use a stim, you're able to do it instantly by the touch of the button without having to push it all the way down. So that is definitely a nice feature. These tiny little mouse click. Oh, the mouse clicks. They're amazing. All right, so our first game with the new controller. Bear with me a little bit, guys. I am getting used to this new controller, so I might be a little rusty, but my main purpose here is to kind of showcase how it works, how it feels. Oh, I just took damage. That's no good. All right, they're not over there. Let's see, slide with the back button. You see that? I can crouch without pressing anything on the front. Amazing. We've looked at these style of controllers before, but nothing quite this customized. Boom. Shouldn't have won that fight. I'm gonna die here. Yep. Something to note right there actually is I don't think I should have won that fight, but since I have these instant triggers, the ability to activate my my gun essentially the second that I can and get cross shot, what I'm able to do here is kind of outgun the competition in a lot of different ways, unless you know your skill kind of has to match. I haven't really been playing too much Cold War lately, but I kind of wanted to showcase it a little bit because this is currently, I think, a little bit better of a game than Vanguard in general. Let's go ahead and catch them off guard. I think they're going to come up from over here. All right, I'm warming up a little bit to the controller now. Playing so much PS5 on a PS5 DualSense controller is getting used to this is a little bit nice, actually. I mean, I can kind of already feel like the buttons are helping me a lot. I think like in games like Halo, of course, Halo is a PC game, so you can use this controller on it. Currently my Halo Infinite version on my computer is just bugged out. The back buttons are super responsive. Like click. You can see like the second you press them. The increased thumbstick tension is definitely something I would say more than anything is what is the most difficult part to get used to, because they're so used to a certain amount of turning needing to be done to get a shot out. Oh, I ran out of ammo. No. I need to run some longer mags. I'm burning through all my ammo. I'm starting to get the hang of it now, as you can see. All right, so we got our first little test of the controller, and what I can say for sure is that I really like the grip on the back. The grip on the back is super nice, and it feels really comfortable. Like kind of after a long little bit, it starts to break in a little bit and then kind of gel to your fingers, which I really like. I think that'll get a lot better over longer period as well. Man, one thing I can say for sure about this controller is that removing the rumbles makes it a lot lighter. It's a little bit different to use. I wouldn't say harder, but it doesn't feel like a normal controller, but being lighter definitely helps with the fatigue that you might find playing for a longer period. While I'm queuing into this game, I wanted real quick to remind you guys that I do stream on Twitch every single almost day, like pretty much every day at this point. My Twitch is twitch.tv/justbiffle. Gunzy. That's JUSTGUNZY. The link is of course in the description below as well. What you can do is go over there and check me out while I'm streaming this game, as well as Halo Infinite, a lot of other games, but I am going to be using this controller primarily from now on. I think that it is incredible, and I wanted to make sure I get a lot of testing with it for the long period reviews that are coming in the future. So again, make sure you subscribe if you have not yet. Turn on the notifications so that way you can be aware of when I go ahead and go live and show off the new controller. So I'm super stoked about it. All right, so now this is going to be a quick little gameplay over on Vanguard. Not my favorite Call of Duty, however, I do have it on PS5, so it'll be easier for me to showcase it.
Team deathmatch. Take out all enemies. Steel yourself. This will not win. We have the lead. Keep it up.
I don't know who took me out.
The lead's ours. Hold on to it. Double kill.
No! Oh, that was such a good spawn too.
Control.
All right, so we went ahead and switched off of that. Lobby was a little bit tough. We spawned in and they were already getting demolished. So we are now in the next game. I'm still getting used to my sensitivity with the increased thumbstick tension. Ooh. Gotta love that automata. Go ahead and slide through here. I kind of want to jump in there. Here we go. Oh no. No, 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 no. Go ahead and slide over here. Make sure they're not switching those spawns.
Too many wounded. Lives are low.
Everyone's playing a little passively. We gotta need help our guy now. Right there, being able to jump and aim at the same time, super important in Call of Duty specifically. So if you play Call of Duty, I definitely recommend this controller. Oh no, I barely saw him, too late. I'll go ahead and call it that bombing run. There's only a couple seconds left anyway. Looks like we are losing. I should have saved that actually, but we did win. I could have saved that bombing run, but I sent it out a little early. Now I will say that getting used to a controller like this is going to be a little bit of a learning curve, right? You know, not pulling off your right thumb to touch the buttons is something that takes a little bit of time to get used to. But it's super necessary. Right there, boom, headshot. Oh no! Got that kill. Oh no! This is a slow game mode. I just feel like we could be pushing it and going in, but our team's not doing anything. Get a stun out there. You see Snoop Dogg? What is going on?
Care package coming for you.
Did he land there?
And nearly out of reinforcements.
Right there, that's how we do it, baby. Hey, I'm starting to get used to this control a little bit. That reload off.
Bending phaser. No lives. This is our last stand.
Got that aim. Oh, he's just camping back there. All right, so my first impressions are that after a little bit of playing, I think especially after about I would say, you know, a week or so, this controller is going to be so comfortable to use, especially with the back buttons, that I don't think that anyone who buys them, like you guys, if you've never used a custom controller before, it's going to be really hard to go back, because having these, instead of having to jump and crouch or even using your analog stick and like bumper jumper tactical, for example, is going to be really hard to come off of. And yeah, it is really a great competitive advantage, so I highly recommend it. So guys, in conclusion, I can say for sure that I highly recommend the Nagashock gaming controller. I would say I probably recommend it over any controller I've ever used before. I don't think there's anything better, especially for the price. You are seriously looking at something that is going to change your gameplay forever. So again, I highly recommend it. Shout out, thank you so much to Nagashock for sending me this controller for review, and of course give me the code Gunzy to use for you guys to use to save some money in the store when you're ordering. Go ahead and go to checkout and use code Gunzy, that's Gunzy, to save 5% off your order. What I can say for sure is that I love this controller, and to be honest, I mean, this is a company I can rep for a long time, so you know, big shout out to them. This thing is beautiful. Go ahead and get yours today. Link is in the top of the description. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop it a like and comment. Tell me down below what you felt about it. And yeah, if you guys end up buying a controller, make sure to tag me on Twitter. Post a picture on Twitter and tag me. My Twitter is @justgunzy, and go ahead and tag me, and I'll go ahead and retweet it and chat with you about it and see how you felt. I can say for sure that this is definitely the best controller I've ever used, so highly recommend it. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate you, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.